One of the things that's changed even since I got involved in politics is just the rise of the percentage of people who get their information off of platforms that have no fact checking mechanism and no accountability for having disinformation spread. Local TV is held to a higher standard of accountability than social media platforms in terms of having accurate information on their platforms. That is crazy. And so it is. How does it change? How are people held to account? Laws have to change.
Tonight's red hot video, MSDNC's resident liar-in-chief, Jen Psaki, she wants the government to go back to the good old days of 2020 when social media censorship hit peak. You know, the anti-Democrats that wanted to censor everybody, and they were doing it pretty effectively. She says you should trust cable TV, cable news TV over the internet because the activist mouthpieces on liberal media are held to a higher standard, she said. They're held to higher standards. Amazing stuff. Standards like hers, evidently.
Can you help me understand, the trip to meet the bodies and the families?
There was a story that was inaccurate and erroneous, which later was fact-checked, that suggested he was looking at his watch for an extended period of time, which after the fact check, it became clear he had just looked at his watch after everybody had left.
Yes, there is a lot of sexism and racism in our country.
Trump is actually running to end the presidency as we know it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That will be the least of it. This is much bigger than one single speech. This embrace of political violence, this dehumanizing language, how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. We don't actually have to wonder what Trump's America in a second term would look like. It's not that far off. We are watching a preview of it right now in Russia. He sees Putin's playbook, he's reading it, and he has every intention of following it.
Now, Tiana, I lost count at my little baseball counter here. How many times did she lie in that montage? Was absolutely everything a lie? I mean, it was so full of crazy.
Pretty much, and also she's been formally sanctioned for that lie about the watch, where she was ordered to apologize by House Foreign Affairs Committee to apologize for lying about Biden looking down at his watch during the dignified transfer. I was wondering if Dems were going to do a 2016 again, and it appears they are. Instead of acknowledging we lit the economy on fire, people do not like full employment, they cannot stand price instability, and they hate open borders, it's much easier just to say, oh, it wasn't us that was wrong. It were, the little morons that were stupid enough to not believe us.
So she's telling us, oh, no, really, me and my friends in cable news who all came out of Democrat administrations. Believe us, we're the news.
Well, I mean, we're on cable news as well. But I would also say, in terms of internet disinformation, we saw it go to the heights of the presidential debate stage from, disinformation from a Nazi group. So, yeah, there is some dangerous stuff going on.
Wait, which disinformation?
So I'm talking about the eating the cats and the dogs. It came from a Nazi group called Blood Tribe, and it made it all the way to the presidential debate stage. That is kind of dangerous. Now, I don't think that you battle disinformation with, I don't think you battle that with laws or anything like that. You battle it by putting out correct information. So that's what should be her job, is to get more viewers, to get people to actually trust her.
I didn't know that a Nazi group brought it all the way to the presidential debate stage.
Jen Psaki is right. There is a lot of disinformation,
I didn't know that.
especially on Twitter. I'm looking at an example right now from October 19th, 2020. Hunter Biden story is Russian disinfo, dozens of former intel officials say. Posted by Jen Psaki, crazily enough. And so she obviously was in on that lie. Of course, we've covered her lie. I've talked to the Gold Star families who were on the tarmac when Joe Biden repeatedly stared at his watch as their children were rolled off in front of them. She lied about that. She was forced to correct her book, although she never really formally apologized to these families. She's a leading purveyor of disinformation. We paid her salary as taxpayers while she was standing at the White House podium, actively engaged with news networks to get her a contract that's paying her more money than most people in America make in a year.
I wonder if this Nazi group is on college campuses teaching the students to chant from the river to the sea and attacking students with yarmulkes and Stars of David on them. I'm just curious about that, or maybe that's a different track altogether.